All right, everyone. My name is Pascal Borel, and I'm speaking to you from Geneva and not from the Swiss mountains today. I'm going to read to you chapter 13 about social non cooperation, but the chapter itself is named Roadmap. The book named 2024 that I have written both in French and English is available on Amazon, but also available totally free of charge on screen on our website www.forovet24.com. You'll find after each and every chapter a section for comments that I advise you or I ask you to use to share your views about this roadmap, which is, in my view, the straightest and shortest path to rebuild strength in our democracies at your service, at the service of the only sovereign, the people. Chapter 13, The Roadmap. A few citations. Debout les morts. Hoping for change without taking part in change is like waiting for a train at a bus stop. You will wait until your death and you will never ever catch it. The greatest victory is to never lower yourself to the level of those who commit injustice. You must become your enemy to understand their strengths and weaknesses before integrating them into your superior model. This is how you turn them into your ally. Better an end in horror than a horror without end. Forovet 24 offers you the roadmap that will guide you and will unite all citizens of all nations in one common, effective, non-violent action that will restore the will of the people to the people. Fellow travelers, I extend my hand to you, and I propose that we walk together towards the summit. It is a path upon which I have traveled many a time. The weather conditions are perfect, and we will reach the summit together. An evolutionary step is about to be taken. Our democratic governance systems will be renewed, emerging stronger and better suited to what makes human beings successful on our planet. These changes will be the result of your will, of your personal actions. These changes will in no way come from those who currently profit and abuse the system. Asking politicians to propose the new structures that humanity needs is like asking the turkey to prepare the Christmas dinner. In other words, it will come from you and from no one else. We need this evolutionary shock, just as the one that ended the reign of the dinosaurs. We need this evolutionary leap that will renew our human environment, just as the emergence of language elevated us to the rank of the top predator of the planet in a few 100,000 years. We are the master of adaptation, and it will only take a few years for us to thrive in our new constitutional, legal, financial, political, and social environment. This new environment will be simplified, understandable, and usable by all human beings, from the youngest to the oldest, from the most educated to the most ignorant, from the richest to the poorest. It will be fairer, more adapted to the fundamentals of our species, in symbiosis with each other, and in respect of our natural, earthy environment. It will favor the hardest workers among us, those who fully commit to their fields of activity. But Ohana, you will not leave anyone destitute by the wayside. The value generated by your work will be returned to you, restoring your dignity, allowing you to invest your time in what seems most important and productive to you and your loved ones. You will no longer be a slave to paperwork of administrative procedures, to regulations that restrict your freedom, allowing everything and its opposite, depending on the financial interest of power. You will regain trust in politicians because you will have put in place the safeguards that define the limits of their actions, what they can do, and what is forbidden to them. You will restore dignity to the mass of civil servants, state employees, whom will return to the job market. They will no longer have to waste their entire lives in sterile paperwork as the collaborators, the unwitting accomplices of institutionalized state theft. They will once again become wealth creators for themselves and for their community. You will be non-violent because it is the true power of strong man. You will take no physical risks, neither for yourself nor for your loved ones. You will take no legal risk because justice no longer serves your interests. You must therefore oppose it and impose its rebirth to once again serve you, to once again serve the community. Here is your roadmap. 1. Temporarily disrupt the financial flows from citizens to the states. 2. Bring our economies to a halt for several days each month. 3. Push our social services into overdrive to bankrupt them. 4. Withdraw your money from the banking system to protect the value of your savings. 5. Organize constitutional marches inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's Salt March. 5 points. Now, let us examine together the details of this action step by step. The first step: temporarily disrupt the financial flows from citizens to the states. Cut off the financial flows extracted from citizens by the states. You're obliged to pay indirect taxes like VAT or taxes on energy, alcohol, tobacco, but you can refuse to pay anything that comes out of your pocket and goes directly to the state. For example, you might consider not paying your vehicle taxes, property taxes, water, electricity, and sewage connection taxes, TV and internet connection taxes. You might consider not paying fines such as parking or any other state fines. Be imaginative. Stop paying all bills from entities in which the state have a stake. Challenge the amounts. Request payment plans spread over a long period, example 10 years. refuse late payment fees, and tie them up in their own administrative red tape. Make them work needlessly day and night, forcing them to open 10,000 new administrative cases a day that practically give them nothing. If you run a business, stop paying VAT. Sell your services and products at their true price, excluding the element of state theft, VAT. Let them take you to court and drag out the procedures as long as possible. Accept the legal proceeding fearlessly. Let them threaten you with repossession. Let them use the legal violence that they rely upon to make you their slave and pay them nothing. You risk nothing. They will not kill you. If they imprison you, if they prevent you from working, living, or taking care of yourself, they are committing suicide. They are shooting themselves not in the foot, but in the heart, because they are depriving themselves of their only resource, the citizen, the only creator of value, the only creator of wealth. Without you, they are nothing. They are not even bad. They are inexistent. The second step of social non-cooperation: bring our economies to a halt for several days each month. Let it rot or lying flat. This movement originated in China and the United States and is now emerging in Europe. It will rapidly spread to the rest of the world. The principle is simple. You only work 2-3 months a year to cover the costs of your food, your shelter, and your internet connection. For the remaining 10 months, you refuse to contribute or participate in any way in the economy. You stay at home, doing nothing apart from taking care of yourself and your loved ones. You study, you meditate, you take care of your health, you walk for 2 hours a day, you practice OMAD 1 meal a day and eat only once a day. You reconnect with your family and friends. You talk to them about your vision of the world, about your values, about your projects. You stop sending your children to school. You practice homeschooling. You regain your strength. You trust yourself. You know where you are going. You have a purpose. It is simple. It is radical. It is powerful. It is non-violent, and it is personal. You become an example. You harm no one. You share your desire and your intention to bring humanity and justice back to the forefront of our occupations. The temporary halt of the economy, the momentary cessation of any consumption, is the only constraint strong enough to force the states back into your sole and unique service. If your personal, professional, or family situation does not allow you to practice let it rot or lying flat, as I just mentioned and described, you have another option. Declare yourself ill and bring our economies to a halt for 5 days during the first month, then 6 days during the second month, then 7 days during the third month, and so on. 8 days during the fourth month, 9 days during the fifth. You understand the logic. Do not consume, but or purchase anything during your days of social non-cooperation. Stay at home, or go for a walk or a bike ride, but consume nothing. Do not use your car. Do not use public transport. Do not buy anything. Watch a documentary or a movie, meditate, listen to your body and your mind. Try practicing intermittent fasting and eat only once a day between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. Review the benefit of intermittent fasting in Chapter 5. I guarantee success in terms of your personal health. Beyond discovering a new way of living and behaving, you will bring the economy to a standstill for 5 days, then 6 days, then 7 days, by the 12th month for 17 days. Your goal is to truly your goal is truly to create no economic wealth that could support the current system's functioning. It is a form of graduate response à la Clausewitz. You punish the state gradually, each month a little bit more, in a balanced way, to give the state a chance to offer you what it is right for you and for it. It is their choice. They decide. You give them the opportunity to make this fundamental constitution transition in a peaceful and harmonious manner. Initially, the state will respond with its legal violence because that is the way that it operates in 2024. It is all it knows how to do. It is what allows it to enslave you, to keep you in its service. It will present this legal violence as its duty to you, as its duty to citizens, as its duty to avoid social chaos. It will lie to you, trying to convince you that the legal violence is there for you, to protect you, just like the mafia, just like the Cosa Nostra. Pay, and I will protect you. It will use its control over the media to manipulate you, presenting images of demonstrations and destruction of private and public property that it orchestrated itself to justify itself. The state will do everything to avoid losing any of the obscene powers that it has granted itself at your expense, of course. It will be a graduate response, and the state will use every strategy at its disposal to avoid losing the war, to avoid capitulation and offering you the world that you deserve. But you are stronger than the state. You are, in fact, the state, and you will not let yourself be manipulated. You will oppose the state with your absolute nonviolence because that is the weapon of truly strong man. You will not take to the streets. You will not demonstrate. You will stay at home. Take care of yourself. You will take care of your family and of your friends. You will not attack anyone. You will not insult anyone. You will not seek revenge for what politicians force you to do, for, for what they force you to be. Your nonviolent action will easily overcome their most powerful fortresses. You will show them by your example that any fool can win a battle through violence, but the only man who wins a war is the one who organizes the peace. Your action will act like a chemotherapy that will kill the state's cancer and restore value to our politicians. They will once again become the vital elements of our democracies. It is their choice. They owe it to you, and you will encourage them to do so. The third step: push social services into overdrive to bankrupt them. In our social democracies, or dictocracies, such as I should call them, you have the opportunity to make your non participation in the economy, your social non cooperation, your let it rot, or your lying flat, even more powerful and effective. And this is what I ask you to do. During the fifth, then sixth, then 7 days, when you remain inactive, declare yourself ill, suffering, or at the very least unavailable for health reasons. Go see your doctor. Complain of coughing fits that leaves you breathless. Complain of colics or constipation and abdominal pain that doubles you over when they occur. Complain of sciatica, accompanied by severe lower back pain that keeps you flat on your back, unable to move. Complain of joint pain that prevents you from walking. Complain of unbearable headaches. Complain of insomnia, depression, or burnout. Get prescribed as many medications as possible. Obtain the necessary medical certificates. Force the income loss insurance to pay you. Use all the social services to the maximum of what you can get. Attack them in writing if they do not deliver. Take them to court. Play their own administrative game and overwhelm them with requests so that they no longer know where to turn. Drown them in their own administrative paperwork so that they can no longer manage anything, so that they get lost in their own procedures, so that they are forced to work 20 hours a day, knowing full well that they produce no value, that they are the puppets of power. Ultimately, you want to bankrupt them. You want the state to go bankrupt, unable to pay their staff. You want the system to collapse, to die, so that it can be reborn in a new light. You want to do this without violence, without violence in the streets, without leaving your home, but with extreme determination, with extreme discipline and extreme brutality, so that it lasts as little time as possible. You want there to be as little collateral damage as possible, so that the most destitute are not totally abandoned, so that they do not suffer for too long. States must be left no choice but to return what belongs to you, a government at your service. They must not be able to survive for more than a few weeks without offering you a new constitution, a new legal framework, without giving full power back to the professionals in all the sectors of human activity. Exactly what I described to you in chapter 11, Constitutional Articles. You trap them in their own administrative slash procedural trap to offer them the greatest gift in the world, a liberated and creative people, a people happy to live their lives in a purified system where no one can be another's slave, where everyone can find their vocation, where your talents and the world's needs meet. The fourth step: withdraw your money from the banking system to protect the value of your savings. Go to your bank and withdraw at least 50% of the cash that you have in your accounts. Leave only the strict minimum necessary for the normal use of your credit cards and other electronic payment means. You need to know that legally, the money that you deposit in the bank no longer belongs to you. This may seem absurd, but it is a fact. From a legal point of view, your bank considers that you are lending it your money, so it is its possession, and it does with it what it wants. It owes you your money, but the money only becomes your possession again when you actually withdraw it at the counter in the form of banknotes or physical gold or silver bars that you can put in your pocket. I repeat, your money no longer belongs to you when it is in the bank. Legally, you are lending it to the bank, so it belongs to the bank. For states and financial institutions, this is the best way to control you and legally dispossess you of your savings if their power is threatened. They can rob you without you being able to do anything. In the event of the bank's bankruptcy, you lose everything with no legal possibility of getting reimbursed. If the state decides to directly deduct a percentage of your savings, they have the right to do so, as was the case in Cyprus a few years ago. The only way to escape this scam is to withdraw your savings from the bank while there is still time. Go to the counter, take banknotes, or better yet, buy some small physical gold or silver bars, but only at the spot market price. Take them home or put them in a safe. The only way to verify if your money is still worth anything, convert it into a real or tangible asset. If your bank refuses to sell you small bars, gold bars, silver bars, at the spot market price, it already means that your savings are worth nothing. Or at the most, the value of the paper upon which the banknotes are printed, or the value of a number that is on the screen in their banking software application, i.e., worth nothing. If the bank agrees to sell you a few small bars, but charges you 20 to 40% fees, it means that they are already anticipating the loss of value of your money in 1, 2, 3 years down the line. To simplify, it means that your $1,000 of savings are already worth, in reality, only $600. You have already lost almost 50% of your savings. So I urge you to act. When only 10 or 20% of citizens go to the bank to withdraw their money and regain ownership of it, in fact, when they understand that they must protect themselves from the state's theft of their money, it triggers what professional financiers call a bank run. This instantly causes the implosion of the entire banking and financial system due to the bank's lack of liquidity, as they cannot cope with such a significant cash outflows. That is your goal. That is what you want to achieve. Rest assured, the monetary chaos will only last a few hours or a few days at most. Breaking the financial system is not your objective. You want to see money reborn as a service of which you are the owner and the user. For that, today's system must die. There is no alternative. All the tools and computer technologies are already in place to move from state-controlled currency to currency obeying the constitutional rules described in Chapter 7, Sources of State Revenues, and Chapter 11, Constitutional Articles. It only takes a simple administrative decision that can be made in less than an hour. The real question is, will the state make us all equal before the value of money, as we are supposed to be before the law? The answer is obviously not. Obviously not without being forced and compelled to do so. All the sages who have considered the role of money in our societies have come to the same conclusion. The people must be given back what belongs to the people. States know that sooner or later they will be forced to return the control they have over currencies to the people, to return to citizens a service that belongs to them, to return to you that which belongs to you. They are only delaying the inevitable to control you for longer, to keep their total power over you for as long as possible. Again, read Chapter 7, Sources of State Revenues, especially the history of the central banks, to understand how they are guilty of malicious acts, dishonest use of legal violence, and maintenance of unconstitutional structures. Protect yourself. Withdraw all or at least 50% of your savings and trigger the bank run that will force our economic system to face the wall. It is up to you to do it. It is your responsibility. It can only come from you. Be an example. Be a resistant. Be a courageous person. You will emerge stronger, more powerful, and free. The fifth and final step of social non-cooperation. Let's organize the constitutional march inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's Salt March. It is possible that the first 4 steps of social non-cooperation will serve as a good start, but that may not be enough to trigger the constitutional revolution that we all need, the one for which we are all waiting. Politicians have granted themselves such impunity, such immunity in all areas that they do not feel threatened in any way and will do everything to preserve this state of affairs. They have enriched themselves so much by giving themselves unlimited access to your money that, On a personal level, they are secured for generations, and they will do everything to keep what they have stolen from you. In these conditions, the establishment of new constitutions must follow the model used by Mahatma Gandhi to restore freedom to India and Pakistan, the Salt March. This is a non-violent, non-aggressive, non-vengeful action in which you will only use what has allowed your species, Homo sapiens sapiens, to conquer the world. Walking. I propose a barefoot pilgrimage or in minimalist shoes to prevent any violent action that requires military type shoes to protect your feet. This will be our rallying sign. Revisit the benefits of barefoot walking and minimalist shoes in Chapter 5, Health. We will march together towards the capitals of all states, united by our benevolent will to offer humanity what it deserves. We will walk in peace, united by non-violence, relying on the citizens' goodwill in all the places that we pass through to support us and to accomplish our mission. When states use the police or military violence at their disposal to prevent you from reaching your nation's capital, you will not retaliate. You will sit on the ground without any violence and accept the blows. You will offer your body in peace, and it will be the state's choice to respect you or to strip you of your physical integrity. The principle of third-party oversight will apply because you will film and broadcast images of state violence on all social networks. The entire earth will be the judge. This will continue until the path is reopened to us. Once you reach our destination around state monuments, parliaments, and other buildings used by the state to govern us, once again, you will sit on the ground without any violence until a constituent assembly is convened according to the procedures described in Chapter 10, Constitutions, and 11 constitutional articles. You will find in these chapters the foundations of what must absolutely be established, the basis of your new constitutions. Politicians will do everything in their power to stop and slow down the process. They will negotiate everything, trying to confuse you with frivolous details to hide their true agenda. Their sole aim will be to continue depriving you of your role as a citizen, to prevent the redefinition of the state's role, to prevent the return of education to the teaching professionals, the return of medicine to doctors, the return of justice to judges, the return of free and unbiased media at your service, and the return of monetary power to the people. They will oppose the principle of third-party oversight that abolishes omerta, secrecy, and dissimulation, which they use to manipulate the media to hide their internal schemes and how they spend your money. Above all, They will oppose financial discipline, which applies to all businesses, from the smallest to the largest, in full transparency as required by the state itself. They know that free access to your money is the driver of all wars, the sole source of their power and their obscene quality of life. Ultimately, your money is all they care about. This is precisely why you must impose upon them a budget, which should be a percentage of the total of what is produced by all economic actors of the nation. All other taxes disappear, and you finally obtain the products that you consume at their true value, at their true price, with no taxes. The current system, where the state places itself above the law and even above the Constitution, is over. We are all equal before the law, equal before the Constitution, and equal before the value of money, and equal in affairs of taxation. The state will never again control the value of money through its incestuous relationship with central banks to steal from you. If it wants to keep its leadership role, the state must adopt strict discipline at all levels. Setting an example is not the best way to educate. Unfortunately, it is the only way. The state must be more Catholic than the Pope. The state must be the example that we all follow. The dog always resembles its master. Let's face it. In conclusion, you will not give in, you will make no compromises until you have recovered all your rights, until the state is the model that you are proud to follow, the model under which you wish to live, the model that you are proud to leave as a legacy to your children. Reading this text, or listening to my podcast or the video, you are probably thinking that you are not ready, that it is impossible, that no one, neither you nor I, nor even our children, are ready for such a fundamental rethink as the one I am here proposing. For the majority of us, we are merely surviving in the meager comfort that we manage to extract from this totally unacceptable situation that has been imposed upon us for much too long. You live in the inertia of your habits, of what you consider immutable. You no longer have any political, legal, or constitutional creativity. The system forbids it. Standardized education makes us all think in the same way. The only thing that matters to you is being able to pay your bills, your mortgage, in fact, to maintain your status quo. This is unacceptable. You must get involved. Your way of life has evolved so much in the last 2 or 3 centuries, and the mass of human knowledge has increased so much that it is now time to take stock, draw conclusions, and propose pragmatic solutions adapted to what you are in 2024. You humans have lived in multiple political and social systems. You know the models that work and that lead to the success of human civilizations. You know the potential pitfalls of power when safeguards are not in place. You have more than 3,000 years of civilization as an example. So, for what are you waiting? To use this rich history as your inspiration. You have read the author of political dogmas, whether from the left or from the right, whether dictatorial, collectivists, or individualists. You know that spirituality derived from religion is the driver of human success in human communities. We are more than 8 billion people on Earth. Political dogmas cannot be the driver of the success of our huge civilizations. We have tested them, they have run their time, but they do not work in the long term. They create aberrations that the creators of these political or social dogmas expressly did not want to anticipate. You might say that they failed to anticipate these aberrations if you credit them with some honesty or if you excuse them for their ignorance. But that is not the case. Understand that political dogmas are intellectual exercises that their authors use to showcase their intelligence or merely to serve their interests, not to offer you a real, pragmatic, long term solution. You need a governance system based upon the rules of the evolution of life and based upon nitty gritty practical experience. Pure intellectuals with degrees and other university certifications will never offer them to you. They are incapable of it. They know nothing of the practical world. All these great minds are formatted by the same studies. They all think the same way. They are incapable of breaking out of the mold that standardized state education has imposed upon them for several generations. But the worst of it, they do not respect you. They despise you. You, the only wealth creator through your hard work. They consider themselves superior to you, even though it is you who teaches our children. It is you, who heals the sick. You who build houses, roads, railways, boats, train, and cars. And it is you who programs the computer applications that are changing the world. In 2024, your goal is to eliminate the arrogant power mafia who, apart from stealing from you, offer you nothing. Based on your historical experience, you want to extract the good elements that have led to the success of human societies and bring them together in a simple and pragmatic solutions that you can use now, that you can implement now, and that will be satisfying to you now. You should be able to explain your project to a 7 years old child in less than 40 seconds. And if you cannot, it is because you have not understood it yourself. It is because you have not yet found the right solution. The roadmap that I propose is the most direct path to what we all want: a good life, an accomplished life. This will only come from you, not from your family, not from your neighbor, not from your leaders, only from you. It is your personal decision because you are at the center of the equation. You are the one who weighs the most on its outcome. It is up to you and no one else to build the world of tomorrow. If it does not come from you, it will not come from anyone. If you do not do it, no one will do it for you. Forget your weakness. Forget your fragility. You are strong. You are courageous. You are determined. Mother Nature has made you that way. Debout les morts. Thank you for your benevolent and kind attention. Peace out.